So the first thing we really started with was chickens. We got some chickens for ourselves, we did a bit of gardening, that sort of thing. But the first commercial enterprise was buying some pigs. We bought 4 little pigs, not much bigger than this. So these guys are 5 weeks old. We bought them at 8 weeks old from a local breeder up north of Bungendore. And we grew those guys out to about 5 months old. We sold them. There was always intention, so we sold them to 7 families and friends, and we kept one half for ourselves. So sold them in halves. And right from the get-go, the decision was it was going to be a business. So I set up the website, made everyone, even though it was family and friends, made them order through the website, pay, go to the butcher, collected all that up. So that was, we're into our 4th year now. So it's a little over 3 years ago that happened. And so from 4 pigs, we bought another 4, then another 4, then 6, then 8, and then eventually it then got to the point where they couldn't supply us or wouldn't supply us, or for whatever reason that opportunity disappeared. So we kept 3 initially of the ones that we had at that time. So we've got Darlin, Boomba and their sister Grunter, who we'll go see up the top of the hill. We kept those 3. We then very quickly in the next lot kept another 3, which we'll see them up there. And we grew them out. So you don't want to, you need them to get a bit of size on them before you want to breed them. They will breed incredibly young, from about 4 months old. But it'll really, like most domestic livestock, they can breed very, very young, but it's not necessarily the best thing. It really sets them back in their own potential. So these guys will breed twice a year, and they'll give us typically between 10 and 14 piglets is what we will generally get for them. In this litter, Boomba's hasn't done a very good job. She had 9, and we do generally always lose some, and it's always to squashing, the mum's squashing. And that happens generally in the first 3 days. Beyond 3 weeks, we've never lost a pig, and it's incredibly rare beyond 3 days. So it's a stressful period, and we've just come to accept that that is nature. They have very big litters, and in the wild, they do that because they do lose a lot. They're they're big animals, and when they're born, they're absolutely tiny. So this is why in industry, they use farrowing crates. They put them on concrete, they put them in confined spaces where the sows can't move and can't squash them. They basically lay down, they have bars coming over their teats, the teats stick out, and they're effectively just a milking machine at that point. And they do that because they don't want to squash them, and they want to produce every animal that they possibly can. We kind of accept, well, this is nature, we do the best job we can. Darlin, for example, has had 4 litters in its time, and in each one she's only ever lost 1 piglet. So she had 12 this time, she's got 11. Ginger, she's only probably trumped by Ginger. So Ginger up there, she's twice now she's had litters where she hasn't squashed any. So, and we're talking like 14 in a litter. So this time it was a bit of an experiment. We've always farrowed where we put them into individual paddocks, and then at about 3 weeks of age, once that risk of crushing has passed, then we open them up and allow them in. The problem is if you separate the pigs, even though these are sisters and they've spent their whole life together, you separate them for half a day, they come back and they do battle and they fight and carry on and re-establish their pecking order. So this time I tried, they were farrowed just as they are now. We gave them 2 shoulders and it worked fabulously. They were very good. They sorted each other out. Darlin went first, which was probably a good thing because she's higher in the hierarchy. And as soon as she farrowed, she basically grunted at Boomba and said, "Leave." And she did. And so she went over the other shelter and it was fine. Gave them about a week and a half. Yeah, that's right. About a week and a half, and they effectively amalgamated back together again, started sleeping back together. So these guys, about 5 weeks old. At 8 weeks, we will wean them. And we do that essentially just by walking the mothers out, because these piglets have been born here, spent their whole life here. We could pull this fence down and they would not cross it. I can try it, they won't, it takes ages. Whereas the sows are used to, they move every 2 weeks. So open the fence up, we walk them out to the new paddock, and the weaning's done. Because weaning is something that's talked about as very stressful. It's not. If you manage it properly, it's fine. These guys then will go into a rotation system. We have some rotation paddocks over here, and they will grow out to about 5 months of age. By about 5 months, they're now at about 80 kilos. And that will give you about 50 kilos of pork at that stage, at 5 months of age. So they're incredibly efficient at converting feed. Very, very efficient. They get fed about 2 kilos a day. And at their peak, they'll be putting on about 700, 750 grams a day.